Welcome to Red Tales. This time around we're going to take a look at relationships. This one comes from a man who runs into his bully some years later and things get complicated. I met a girl who used to bully me when we were little. Now she is asking me out and I don't know what to do. I, 27 male, was heavily bullied since the beginning of kindergarten until the end of middle school, when I transferred in a different town. My classroom had 15 children, me excluded. Out of these 15, 7 of them used to bully me constantly and the other 8 simply ignored what was happening. Out of the 7 bullies, 4 did some particularly heavy shit. I will call them the B team. You can guess what B stands for, while the other 3 did some random lighter things, throwing paper scraps at me, stealing pencils and things like that. I will call them the C team, or acted as followers for the B team. What the B team did to me scarred me for life and I had to go to therapy to deal with it. If I met them today, I would make them pay for everything they did to me. My hatred for the C team is not nearly as big, but it's still vivid. Until last year I couldn't bring myself to forgive anybody in that classroom, both teachers and students, for doing nothing to help me when the B team was tormenting me. Last year, though, my hatred started to fade following some serious events in my life. Sorry, I won't share what events. When I transferred, I swore to myself I would never go back to that town or talk to any of them ever again. Despite that, my past has found ways to follow me. I work in a pub, not sure if this is the right term in English, part-time twice a week, and around 6 months ago I met Nina, 27 female, there by chance. Nina was one of the 3 bullies of the C team and, while I have forgiven them now, it doesn't mean I want to have anything to do with her, so I tried to stay professional and act as if nothing was wrong. Anyway, physically she hasn't changed much. I mean, she has grown up since middle school, obviously, but I could still recognize her. I'm not sure if I made myself clear. The same cannot be said for me probably. In middle school I was fat, white like snow, and I had light brown hair, while now I'm fit. My skin is a bit more pink and my hair have darkened in the last few years. When some of my friends look at my old photos, they struggle to recognize me. We didn't talk for much as I was working and she initially didn't recognize me, but when one of my colleagues called me to ask me something, she connected the dots. I have a particular name that is rare in our country, as it's really old-fashioned and nobody use it anymore. Imagine, I don't know, being called Aristotle today. Once she recognized me, her demeanor changed drastically and she got out pretty soon. She came back a couple of times in the following months and she was quite shy toward me whenever we interacted. Few weeks ago she got mildly drunk and she started sobbing and ranting about what a crappy person she was in the past and how her life is shit. It was the classic drunken rambling and I didn't pay it much attention. I simply stopped serving her alcohol and gave her some water, but at some point she grabbed my hand while I was taking away one of the empty glasses and she apologized. I have to say it felt weirdly good. She didn't come back in the following weeks, but few days ago she texted me on social media, apologizing profusely for whatever she did while drunk, and then she suddenly asked me out. At the time I was evidently too stupid or tired to understand clues and didn't understand it was meant as a date. She asked me out for a coffee and I thought she simply wanted to apologize in person or talk about the past in a more sober state. I realized my mistake yesterday, when I talked about it with a friend. Now I'm torn on what I should do. On one side, what Nina did in the past has conditioned me greatly and I can't simply forget about it. On the other, she really looks apologetic and she seems to have changed. It's been 15 years and maybe I should give her a chance. TLDR, I met one of my old bullies by chance. She seems apologetic and she asked me out. What should I do? OP comes back a week later after he's worked some things out. I, 27 male, wasn't sure about doing an update post, but quite a few of you gave me some good advice, and some didn't, but I want to focus on the good ones, so I thought it would be fair to update you on how the situation evolved. After reading your advice, I decided to meet Nina, 27 female, for that coffee. It was awkward, but it wasn't that bad. She apologized profusely about the past. I thought her apologies would make me feel good, but to be honest, I was wrong. The The truth is that I still think badly of the Nina who bullied me in middle school, but I couldn't see that Nina in the current Nina. I don't know if what I'm trying to say makes sense or if my brain finally decided to give up on me. Her voice, her demeanor, everything except for her face is completely different. I told her exactly how what she and the other bullies did affected me, and then I decided to forgive her. More or less. I decided to start over as strangers and told her as much. I told her that while I couldn't forget what she did in the past, I don't know the current Nina. It's been 14 years since those times, more than half of our lives passed since then, and I firmly believe people can change. I did. So, if she wanted to try and get to know the current me, we could act as if that was the first time we met and move on from then. I don't know if this decision showed my maturity or my stupidity. I guess the future will tell. I admit what she did next made my giggle a bit. I think she took it from a film, but I don't remember which one. She stood up and got out of the coffee shop, then came back in, sat down and introduced herself. We chatted for a bit and it was okay. I want to thank all the people who gave me advices in the comment section of the previous post. TLDR, I decided to forgive her and we decided to start over as strangers and see what happened. I'm glad OP and Nina decided to start over. Children can be cruel and not fully understand what their actions lead to. Oftentimes bullying can come from insecurities or issues the bully is dealing with and have little to do with the actual target of the bullying. It seems as though both of them have grown and learned to be better people. Hopefully, their relationship can help them heal and become happier as well. We have a bonus story for you today. This one comes from r/pro revenge. A man defends his family and an innocent child with just a phone call. Terrorize my family? Enjoy losing everything and going back to jail. Myself and my wife had just had our second child and moved into a duplex in an amazing neighborhood, had its own playground even. We moved in and greeted the neighbors, bunch of younger people, but they seemed okay. The first day after moving in we find that they're gone and they left their 7-year-old, on a school day, outside our door with a bag of goldfish and a note asking us to watch him while they went out. QCPS call number 1. The neighbors and me got along really well. Old guy next door repaired bikes for a hobby and the next door neighbor did woodworking, and would always come over to see the kids and sent his grandkids over to play too. They warned us that our upstairs neighbors were trouble, constant traffic going in and out and parties every single night. This was 110% the truth. It got to the point we couldn't sleep at night and we had multiple altercations to the point it was full-blown yelling matches. The landlord was useless and would do nothing to get rid of them, so I bided my time. Eventually one night they came home in their red Mazda 3 and it was destroyed. They must have hit someone and ran, so I called the RCMP to let them know, as at the very least I figured they'd get in deep shit, but oh man, I had no idea what I had just unleashed. Turns out the douchebag had a warrant out for his arrest for drug trafficking. He got hauled away in cuffs that night. An entitled woman too got a visit from CPS again as they left their son home alone again. This wasn't once or twice, it was every single day. So, my wife went digging for names and found the mother on Facebook. Using public record searches we found out that they owed Easy Home nearly $48,000 in assets as they had taken off from the original address with all of their furniture, including TVs and a huge sound system. 48 hours later the sheriff was there with a box truck emptying their house. Took the beds, couches, TVs, the annoying subwoofer system, kitchen set and even the dressers. CPS came shortly after and removed the child from the house. I didn't enjoy seeing him taken away, but they never fed him and he was always in the same clothing and it was falling apart. We went out of our way to make sure he had full meals when we could not gonna let a kid starve. The douchebag went to jail for drug possession. He was out on bail and hid the drugs in a dresser they took. Entitled Woman 1 went to jail for assaulting the sheriff and Entitled Woman 2 actually had a happy ending. Far as I know, after she lost her son she went through multiple programs to clean herself up and started working to provide for her son. Ran into her a couple years ago and she thanked me for what I did. I got pro-revenge on the drug dealer and his girlfriend and thankfully helped someone get on the right path. Props to OP for making that phone call. A lot of people would decide it's not their business and ignore things. All it took to remove a child from a bad home environment was a phone call to get the right eyes on the situation. And good for the mum for recognizing she had to change and putting in the work to do it. Thanks for joining us on Red Tales. We hope you enjoyed today's stories from Reddit. If you did, please like the video. It really helps. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you have content like this delivered to you daily. Have a blessed day.